Hello everyone, welcome to Ned AI Talks. Today we're going to look into part 2 of building a chatbot for lead generation. In this video, we're going to look into building our custom entity, and in the previous video, we looked into building a custom intent. And in the next video, we're going to look into how we're going to work with fulfillment to integrate this to your solution. Right. So if you want to know how we did this part, you can check the previous video where we looked into it in full detail. And I'm going to show you what it was like. So we added training phrases, and this is the most important part, the action and parameters. And we're going to work with this today as well. And of course, the responses that we get from the chatbot. Right. So you know how we have this query here, and we're going to customize our own entity. So this is what we're going to do today. I'm going to take you step by step to create your own entity and to integrate it here. And so we're going to test and see how the chatbot will respond to this. The ones we have here are system entities, and so they come predefined. And even, for example, for the email one, it has some validation rules. However, the one that we want to create should be specific to our use case, and that's why we're going to create a custom entity. As I mentioned in our previous video, we're going to follow the instructions from ChatGPT so that we can create this easily and smoothly. Right, so now we want to make sure that we have our agent selected, and you can create a new agent. And if you want to know how to do that, I also have a previous video where we did that in detail. Right, so now we're going to navigate to entities and we're going to create a new one. Here we have a name for this new one that we're going to create. So I'm just going to copy that and paste it in there. Yep, as our entity name. Okay, so we can't save unless we add a new entity down here. And so let's see which are the new ones that we can add. Oh, so fuzzy matching here means that even if the exact word is not there, like I didn't add them here, the AI will still be able to tell that the user meant these words. So let me explain what we're doing here. Right. So instead of having one of the entities be system.any, which is the entity that we used earlier, we're going to create our own custom one in which if the user asks any questions related to these topics, then the chatbot will be able to detect those and respond accordingly. So this makes it more specific to our use case, right? So now I entered investments, and these are the synonyms, meaning if the user said any of these words, so, and of course, associating these words with the synonyms so that the AI or the chatbot will understand these are the words that we're looking for from the user. And once it detects it or something similar, it's going to respond according to what we tell it to respond with. So now I'm just adding all these different words so that we can test later on and see if it will be able to detect them and respond accordingly. Right, so I added a few and these should be enough. Of course, feel free to add more if you feel like you want more. I added the fuzzy matching to ensure that even if they said something similar to these words, it will also take those to account. Now, we make sure we save, and that way we can test later. Okay, so this is going to be the one that we're going to add in the intent that we created last time. So we already did these steps and saved. Let's see what we're going to do next. We're going to go and navigate to the intent and into the lead collection intent, the one that we created last time. And we're going to scroll down to actions and parameters. First, we're going to replace this, and you can see automatically the value has been replaced as well. And now we're going to look for the one that we added just now, the inquiry type. Okay, so now we want to add the prompt. Okay, so this is going to be the question that the chatbot will ask to get this information. Okay, I'm just looking, and yep. seems like found it. We want to make sure that it is checked as required, and you can see the check here. So this means that the user will not be able to move on with the conversation unless they respond to this question. And the question itself is right here in the prompt. So it seems like GPT gave me two types or two variations of the question. So that's good. That means we want our chatbot to seem more natural and ask the question in different ways. And so if the user used this chatbot like more than one time, they won't be getting the same responses every time, which makes it, sound more AI-like. So if you want it to be more natural, it's better to increase the variations. Okay, so of course, make sure to always save. And let's also add different responses here because this was based on the previous use case that we were doing or the previous scenarios. So now we added a different one. So we're going to add these two now. Right, so now I added both of them and saved. Make sure that you see the green message down there so that the training has been done. Okay, so next we want to test it out to see if it actually works and it is responding according to what we would expect. Okay, so let's try it out now. Greeting it and let's see. Okay, so this is the first response that we're going to get when we first greet it. Okay, so we give it the name and it's going to continue with the rest of the questions because the name is valid. Okay, so now we add a valid email as well. And since it's a system entity, it would have said the same question again if I didn't enter a valid email. So now this is the last question and it got all the information. It seems like it's working as expected. So now let's imagine a different scenario. Let's say the user won't greet the chatbot. No, that's not the first thing they're going to say. Let's say the first thing they say is, I need advice, or what type of services do you have? We don't want the chatbot to just suddenly ask, what is your name? We want them to respond to the thing they say. So let's say we can have them ask, what type of service are you looking for? So if we move this up here, that might serve the purpose better. Okay. So here also, if whatever information we're collecting is a list, we're going to take this one here. And here are examples of what the user might say. So we want to be able to respond to this instead of a greeting at the first question. Okay, so now I moved it here and we can test it out and see if it will be able to respond accordingly. Okay, so I need advice. Oh, let's try the other one. Yes. What are your services? That way. Okay. Okay, so this might be better than, having it ask what is my name. But then afterwards, it will ask for my name because it needs this information to be able to assist me later on. So we're going to continue, and that way you'll be able to collect the information. Okay, so in cases when the chatbot is not able to understand or the user entered something that it didn't expect or it's not, trained to respond to these things, we have the fallback intent. And here is what we want the chatbot to respond with in cases it didn't understand the user. So you can customize this part as well so that it represents you better. So it doesn't, give just very vague answers. So you can clarify in these cases. You can tell it what you expect the user to say so that the chatbot will be able to respond better, right? Okay. And yeah, you can also edit these to make it more specific to the type of terminology that the user might use so that it is easier for the chatbot to detect what they say. And yeah, here are the ones, the system entities that we used as well. You can look into them, add more phrases, add more expected input that the user might, use. And yeah, that would be it for this video. Make sure to support the channel and look forward to the next video in which we're going to see how we can integrate this to our solution to be able to collect the data that the user entered. Make sure to subscribe and share because the aim of the channel is to help people learn more about AI. Thank you so much and goodbye.